Now, Trump forever grudges ties Epstein files to Russia hoax. We're just going to read a little bit of this article because President Trump is redirecting his fury over the Jeffrey Epstein files into one of the MAGA's oldest obsession, pushing Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the officials involved in the 2016 Russia investigation. Okay. And what's behind all of this is the exploitation and the Epstein files of these hundreds of hours of videotapes of alleged encounters with Epstein and children and or child pornography, and the ties that Epstein have with President Donald Trump. So the question here, folks, is what are they trying to hide? As I told you guys before, if there's fire, there's smoke. And if there's smoke, there's fire or was fire. And I believe all of the above are true. Am I stating that I believe that President Trump is involved in some despicable things dealing with children? No, I'm not, because I don't know. But you know how you have that gut feeling? Women have women intuition, men have men intuition, or we have this gut feeling, or we have this sort of this, whatever it is, right? Some sort of energy, some omen, some aura that just tell you there's something else going on. What are they hiding? Why they're trying to restrict the release of the Epstein files? See, here's the thing. I think because of all the smoke and mirrors, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the Hamas-Israel conflict, the Iran-Israel/America conflict, the Israel/Pakistani conflict, the refugees from Afghanistan coming over here to America, the refugees from South Africa, and the alleged genocide of Afrikaners, aka Boers, white farmers in South Africa, which we already denounced and debunked, which isn't true. But all of these smoke and mirrors going on, but it seems as though that the MAGA crowd is staying hard on these Epstein files. You know why? Because they're about families. They're about the American dream. And if somebody is touching or dealing with children in an inappropriate manner, they want to know, and so do I. See, the most egregious things that happen to children, more times than not, happen within the family. It's the aunt, it's the uncle, it's the mother, it's the father that are, in some regards, sexually abusing these children. But this, and I don't think one is worse than the other, because again, this is all dealing with children who are innocent, okay, who are impressionable. And so the most precious creatures on earth, because we were all children. Don't act as if that you just was born and you was an adult. You were a child as well. And some of you guys who've been through a certain couple of things have probably been affected by people who are close to you or close to your family. But these are children, supposedly, who have been paid and bought for. So child sex trafficking. Some of the parents knew about this, supposedly, and money exchanged hands for them to violate their children. There's information and evidence that's somewhere in these Epstein files and all these hundreds of hours of videos that the government is trying to hide from us. Now, I don't know who are in these files. Now, we can say that President Trump is a known associate of Jeffrey Epstein. So we all know that. We can all say that President Trump and P. Diddy were once friends or are known associates. Just look it up. Just look at P. Diddy, Donald Trump. You will see that President Trump has been to a couple of parties with P. Diddy. I'm not saying P. Diddy parties. I'm just saying parties with P. Diddy, as well as Jeffrey Epstein. Does that make the president guilty? No. That's why we need the files released. Because I think now, granted, there's people on the left who believe that Donald Trump probably was in some situations that will probably end his presidency soon as the information is released. Then there's others that may be on the right. They just want the files released to see all these important people who've been part of this very demonic practice of harming children sexually. I just want the truth to be released because, again, this is one of the pillars that President Trump ran on, that he will release the Epstein files by the way of Pam Bondi. Now, Pam Bondi did a report stating that there's hundreds of hours of videotapes that the FBI is now going through, and that the tapes have Jeffrey Epstein with children inappropriately and or child pornography. Then we had Kash Patel to come out and state that, we went through these so-called files, but there's nothing that you want. There's nothing that. What do you mean there's nothing that we want? If there's nothing there, then release it. See, here's my thing. When he was on there talking with Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was really trying to drill down without offending him to kind of get the truth, so to speak. Kash Patel was being very descriptive, and I showed that video clip right here on Black Logic. I don't want to revisit that because I don't think it's imperative. What's imperative is no matter what you have, release it. The hundreds of hours of video, release it. Files, release it. People who are associated with Epstein that are now claiming to be victims that are not victims, because that's another way they have scapegoated out of the associating with Epstein, is that one of the things that Kash Patel stated on the Joe Rogan show, he stated that we're not going to re-victimize the victims. And those victims could be women, those victims could be men, and those victims could be children. But most importantly, those victims could be the perpetrators that are stating that, my name is on a list because I went to the island, but I'm a victim because I just went there to party. I didn't see no children. I didn't involve myself in any children. I didn't go to the after party. That wasn't me. Okay, then again, once we start having names, dates, locations, that is how investigations work. You get a name. You find out where they were, at what time, on what day. How did they get there? Who did they go with? What did they wear? You keep finding out more and more information. And a lot of these people who are lawyers in politics, don't forget, a lot of politicians are lawyers. A lot of politicians are former judges and lawyers. They know the law. They just don't know politics. They know the law because they were lawyers. So they know how investigations are ran. They know how investigations are worked. Any significant amount of information on a person will lead you down a trail and you will eventually find out the truth. It's like a dog with a bone. If you get some really powerful investigators, just give them a name. And they will start to track down. They will call the FFA. Was he on that plane? Who was on the private jet? Was there a list? Where's the manifest? Who was part of the shipment? What products did they send? They will drill down so far, they will find out information. And this is why I believe that this information is not being released. Will the Epstein files ever be released? I just don't know. I just don't know if the Epstein files will ever be released. Because again, who is a part of these so-called alleged atrocities that was occurring with children? Hopefully, and I pray that this has not happened. But if it did, then those people should be definitely prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And I hope they never see daylight ever again in their lives.